maintenance? I mean, I don't know anything. Maybe I can get under the hood of another gas-powered car, but what do I do with one of these?
People think that there may be more maintenance with the hybrid, and there's not. You change your oil every 5,000 miles, just like any of our other models.
Okay.
The oil change doesn't cost anymore. It's got the same motor as our Corolla, basically, for the gas motor.
All right.
You put brake pads on it less often than a lot of our other models because you're not really using the brakes. The car is slowing itself down when it needs to. The tires don't wear out as often. So maintenance really is not a factor with them.
The big one is that cell, that battery.
Yes, the battery.
What do I do if my battery goes bad? I mean, what's the story on the battery?
Well, we've had hybrids here at Ganley since 2000.
All right.
I haven't put a battery in one.
That's a pretty good statistic. That's almost 10 years. And
right. The battery has an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty on all the hybrid components, such as the battery.
Okay.
You can just replace a cell at this point, is what we are told, but we have never had to do so.
So no way to actually test that out in practical.
Right.
Okay.
They do have a small battery, just like a normal car, that could go bad, and that's no different than a Corolla.
So now we're actually taking a look inside the engine compartment. It's different than a traditional car. Can you explain to me, what is this giant thing here? Is this actually our battery?
This is part of your battery pack.
Okay.
Anything with a bright orange cable means not to mess with that.
Okay.
That is all very high power going through, and then your actual battery is in the back of the vehicle, but this is part of the control for that.
Now, when you start the car, this is not actually like a traditional where you turn the key and pump the gas. This is a very different experience.
Right. You have a button that you press, and that makes the electrical connection so that your electric motor starts kicking in. You normally don't feel anything because your gas motor is not going to kick on at that point.
Okay. Not just braking, but even coasting downhill, we're charging the battery as well?
Yes. Anytime you're coasting, you're charging the battery. The engine knows to cut off, and that's allowing all that regenerative energy to help charge up the battery, just like the braking system.
That is awesome. It's a really cool technology. I hope to see more of this employed in future vehicles. Do you see this being used in like the larger vehicles in the Toyota line?
I would hope so in the future. Currently, we have the Highlander and the Camry, but I'm hoping down the road. At one point, Toyota had said that they would make every vehicle hybrid available.
Oh, wow.
That has stopped at this point, but I'm hoping to see that coming up.
What other technologies? Do you see Toyota maybe doing just a fully electric vehicle?
I don't believe so. There's been no talk of that because they don't want the consumer to have to charge their car at night.
Oh, okay.
They want it to be convenient. They want their vehicle to be able to go long distance and to have the reputation that Toyota has had.
The Prius itself, you're sort of paying a premium.
Correct.
But people are still willing to do that.
Correct. People are looking for a smaller car. They're looking for a car with better fuel economy. Even though they don't want to, they realize maybe it's time to do this. They're looking to save money on gas. They're also looking to do their part to help the environment with emissions and the size of the cars.
Now, are people making that decision based primarily on the pocketbook or the carbon footprint?
I think both.
Really?
I think both, yes. They look at the economy. They think, okay, gas is going to be this much. We're trying to be a little more conservative as a nation, I think. You know, we're not the free-spending country we used to be. So, and then they also look at what they hear and what they read constantly on a day-to-day basis with the environment, and let's do our part. Let's look at it from both perspectives.
Who's the buyer for the hybrid?
For the most part, environmentally conscious people.
But the cost is a factor. I mean, I'm looking at a car that's $40,000, right?
No.
Oh, really?
Base Prius is around $22,000, goes up to about $34,000 for the top-end Prius.
But it is something that also has a lower out-of-pocket expense over the ownership of the car.
Well, absolutely. 54 miles to the gallon on average.
Okay.
Normal Toyota maintenance, every 5,000 miles you change the oil, rotate the tires. Anybody that's driven a Toyota knows that the maintenance on them is low to begin with. Also, 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty on the hybrid parts, including the battery. Expected battery life is in excess of 160,000 miles. When Toyota did their testing on their hybrid Synergy battery, they stopped at 160,000 miles because they felt there was no need to go any further.
So it may go farther. We just don't even know.
It could, yeah.
What do you see as a pattern for buying these types of vehicles, compacts, hybrids, over the next 10 years?
The majority of the cars on the road will probably be some sort of hybrid or electric car.
Welcome back to Pro Con. We got to start off, first of all, we want to let you know that Prius segment with Ganley, that was not a commercial. We didn't get paid for that.
No, we didn't get paid for it.
It was just the concept ended up being so positive, it almost looked like a commercial.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is Toyota really is raising the bar with the technology. Doesn't mean that this is a Toyota sponsored program.
Now, to be fair, Ford, General Motors, other manufacturers make energy-efficient vehicles.
Sure.
They make hybrids.
They do.
So we're only using this as an example. But why
Correct.
don't you talk about the positives before I blast hybrids?
Okay. Wow. I got to get a lot of good stuff in here before you get started, don't I?
Tick, 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 tick. You got 3
think-
seconds left.
The hybrid is an amazing type of vehicle because we are talking about, especially for urban dwellers, a vehicle that could get maybe even 70 miles a gallon running fully electric around town. That's an impressive thing to think about. Now, that's not what it says on their sticker, but as they explain that vehicle to us, we're talking about a car that has a way lower carbon footprint, has a much higher gas efficiency. I mean, we're really cool technology in that vehicle.
See, I see it a different way. If you look at hybrid utilization in the United States, very few Americans really own them at the present time.
Sure.
But what I like about it is it is indicative of a trend, which is Americans buying more energy efficient vehicles,
Sure.
which don't have to be hybrids. They could be a plug-in, it could be a hybrid, but it could be a car that's a little smaller, like a Corolla or a Ford Focus, that
Right.
get maybe in the 30s in the city and pushing towards 40 on the highway. I see that, but as far as will hybrids really be the answer? I mean, first of all, you have to understand the hybrid costs more, and it's not a little bit more. It would be a cost premium approaching 15%.
Agreed. The issue is going to be...
Did you say you agreed?
that it costs more?
What's wrong? Are you okay?
It does cost. I can't deny it costs
I thought you were
more.
going to argue about everything.
But here's the fact. When those gas... Because oil, we all know, is a limited resource. And even though we may not run out for 100 years, as those reserves get smaller, those gas prices are going to get up there like those European prices. We're going to be paying $5, $6, $8 a gallon. People are going to be thinking, what's my electric options here? So hybrid is just one other way, like we talked about, of creating awareness, thinking about what can I do other than buy another huge SUV.
Well, of course, those who are against hybrids talk to the potentially high cost of replacing the nickel metal halide batteries, soon to be lithium batteries, and the charging systems between the front wheels that charge the system. It's fascinating technology. It's great that's been spearheaded. Folks,
Yeah.
I did buy a hybrid and I've owned one.
Yeah.
I now have a smaller car with a gas engine. I preferred that, but I did own one. It's an interesting thing. One thing's for sure. We as a nation must start looking towards lower oil utilization.
Yes.
That's a given.
Yeah, that's the point.
But how to get there?
Well, and again, I think that's why the hybrid is such an exciting and impressive technology. I mean, that is a big leap forward in thinking outside that box of, well, we just have to have another petroleum-based vehicle.
Yeah, now if we take a look, what is a hybrid? Well, it's a vehicle that takes kinetic energy of motion when the car is rolling down a hill and turns it into potential energy, which is battery pack power.
Right.
So when you're coasting downhill, it's charging the battery and the engine's off.
Right.
When you're running on the highway, it might use the engine and the battery at the same time. When you're stopped, engine is off.
That's
now think about the
huge.
oil that's wasted in the United States
Exactly.
just stopping on the highway or in
Yeah.
front of a red light.
Think about a place like Washington, D.C. or in L.A. where you're in traffic for 3 or 4 hours.
Well, Barry,
That's a huge impact.
Barry, what do you think?
Again, come on. I think Barry has a hybrid.
I think he does. I think he does. I think he
so
does.
Again,
the only
Barry's
one
not
here
gonna
that
help
doesn't
you.
have a hybrid is you. What are you
Yeah.
going to do about it?
I want to get a hybrid.
Okay.
There you go.